Have you ever played a game that you could tell was good, but you personally dislike it? That's my opinion of God of War in a nutshell. I've obviously heard of this game before, but never played it until now, and while I personally didn't care for it, I can see why it was so popular. In God of War, you play as Kratos, a Spartan warrior who has spent 10 years serving the Greek gods in order to atone for his past sins. He is given one final task, namely he must kill Ares, the god of war. And so Kratos must fight his way through various creatures and monsters from Greek mythology in order to finish his journey, obtain the power to kill a god, and complete his mission. The story is going for a Greek myth, Greek tragedy sort of thing, and it does it quite well. The narrative is reasonably well paced and well told, and is rather epic at times, but the problem for me is that Kratos just isn't a likable character. His backstory is similar to that of Hercules, so his suffering does make him a little sympathetic. However, the naughty thing he did in his past that haunts him happened because he was too violent. So what does he do? Continue to be excessively violent. Which wouldn't be a problem if he only killed monsters and people who were a threat to him, but that isn't the case.
Thank you! Thank the gods you came back for me!
I didn't come back for you.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. And from what I've heard, he just gets worse and worse as the games go on. So while the story is good, I found it impossible to care about Kratos at all. When it comes to the gameplay, it's a hack and slash where you use two blades to attack and kill enemies. Overall, the gameplay is good, but it just wasn't clicking for me. It reminded me of the Devil May Cry games, and while God of War is better than Devil May Cry 1 and 2, I don't think it's as good as Devil May Cry 3. In Devil May Cry 3, you had a variety of weapons and playstyles to choose from, and the game usually let you figure out a strategy that you were comfortable with. In God of War, though, there's a tendency for the game to want you to do things a certain way, and it punishes you if you don't do it that way. Also, the Devil May Cry games didn't have QuickTime events, but guess what God of War has an abundance of? And as everyone should know by now, QuickTime events suck. They don't test how good you are at the game, they just test how good you are at pressing the right button when the game says so, and it's really inorganic. Take the opening fight with the Hydra. On the whole, this is probably one of the best openings to a game I've ever seen, and there are parts of the fight with the Hydra that are pretty awesome. When it comes to actually killing it, it's just a series of QuickTime events, which is really not that interesting or engaging. Compare this to, say, Shadow of the Colossus, where there are no QuickTime events, and taking down the giant beast is based entirely on how good you are at the game mechanics. It feels 100 times more epic because your success or failure is determined by how good you are at the game, not by how good you are at following the next button prompt. So yeah, not really sure what else to say. God of War, it's a good game, you should play it if you haven't, I just personally didn't like it that much. Final score is an 8 out of 10, I guess. Let me know what you thought of God of War in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.